Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? It is a new day, it is a new week, and it's time to get social. My name is KaVonna, and welcome to the Introverts Social Hour. Welcome. Today, this episode is super festive and fun. We're going to be talking about all the holiday movies that we love, we enjoy, and maybe some that might not be on people's list, but people still enjoy them. Some, maybe not, some, we'll see. We're going to be talking about our top three choices for holiday films. I brought my friends Sabrina and Nicole. Y'all know Sabrina and Nicole. Just in case you haven't listened to any episodes that they have been in, Nicole is a queer writer based in Los Angeles with famously eclectic tastes. And Sabrina is a California based English teacher who loves stories and often has strong opinions for them. So you already know with these two on, it's going to be a very interesting episode because we got to see what their holiday choices are. But welcome, Sabrina and Nicole. Woo woo.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, so my first question I had, what makes a film a holiday movie? And are there specific themes or elements that have to be present in order to make that movie qualify? And also, too, more specifically, how much of it needs to be present as well, I feel like.
Okay. Holiday or Christmas?
Let's go Christmas because that's what
Okay.
we're talking about for this season. Um, yeah, let's go Christmas.
Okay. Um,
Yes.
well,
I have an easy. I can start because I've got a short one. If you watch it during Christmas, it is a Christmas movie. If it has Christmas elements, usually my Christmas movies have Christmas elements, but I'm not going to require it to. It needs to have A, B, and C. If it has something Christmas related and you watch it during Christmas, it's a Christmas movie to me.
Okay.
But I know people have a more specific definitions.
Hmm.
for me, it must be essential to the story. So Christmas itself has to be essential to the story. Like if you took Christmas out and the story still made sense, it is not a Christmas movie.
Okay.
Because I watch a ton of stuff during Christmas season. Like I'm out here watching anything. But
That's
it's not
fair.
qualified as like one of my Christmassy movies. So for me, a Christmas movie has to have Christmas be like absolutely essential to the plot, to the development of the story. Um, so that if you removed Christmas, that like setting from the movie, it doesn't make sense. If it doesn't make sense, it's a
Mm.
Christmas movie. If it still makes sense, then it is not a Christmas movie.
That's actually pretty good qualification. Because at first I was
Mm-hmm.
like, because sometimes they can mention Christmas. But I didn't think like, well, if they took Christmas out and maybe like swapped a different holiday with it, does the plot still go? So that's good. So I'm thinking like, for example, Elf, like
Mm,
Elf
you kind
has to
of,
be like
yeah.
it's completely entwined into the story.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So
I,
I already know. Oh, go ahead, Nicole.
I was curious, like because I know there's a lot of movies. When I was preparing for this, I was looking at lists and things like that to see like what's the vibe of what people think Christmas movies are, and
Mhm.
things did come up where it's like Christmas feels like a small piece of that movie, like in a way that isn't like a movie that takes place over a long period of time, and
Mm-hmm.
Christmas is a feature, even if it
Mhm.
has like a really strong Christmas moment. If there's other thing, if it's there's other things going on, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm surprised that made it to this list of like a Christmas movie
Mm-hmm.
when it's not the entirety of the movie.
Mhm.
I feel like for me, what's popping up when you say that is like the holidays, which we watched, which we
Mm-hmm.
did not really like.
Yeah.
But that one, because it could potentially, you could have some people say like, oh, it is a Christmas movie because one of the dates is on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's not a Christmas movie per se. It's just a movie you can watch at Christmas because it has that, because it's just
Mm-hmm.
like an overarching thing. Then there's some movies that are like only set on the holiday. Like Holiday is a holiday movie.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you, Nicole, or blah, 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 asked you, KaVonna, at the beginning. I was like, which one? Because
Mm-hmm.
holiday and Christmas are very different for
Mm-hmm.
me, at least. But I also
Yeah.
have like a very niche area of Christmas because we celebrate it so much in my house.
Yeah.
So I think it depends. It depends on how central that Christmas moment is. But I think that's where we get holiday movies versus Christmas movies.
Okay. Okay. So the question being, that I already feel like y'all are ready for it. Before we go into our top choices, I feel like the biggest debate that I see, and I'm gonna tell you my opinion afterwards because I have held it in. Y'all know that
He's like,
I hadn't watched this movie until later. Um, a lot of people debate on this. Die Hard being a Christmas movie. So I'm gonna just give off factual things and then I'm gonna give it to y'all before and then I'll give you my opinion after. Factually, for my listeners who haven't watched Die Hard, it opens, it's on like Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, right? And homeboy Bruce, don't know his character's name.
John.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
Bruce
Yeah.
Willis. It's Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis. That's all
Bruce
that matters.
Willis. Yeah. He's going to visit um his current wife, but like also like low key separated. Um, and this is all during their wife's job is having a holiday party and everything. So they set the basis of it being like Christmas. That's the start. This is happening on like Christmas Day. What are y'all thinking? Is it a Christmas movie?
I'm gonna let the defense go first.
Yes, the defense. I am strongly of the opinion that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, not just because it is a film that without fail every year my family watches at some point during the Christmas season. It's also the way I kind of see it, it's definitely cross genre. Like it's not entirely a Christmas movie. It's not entirely an action movie. It's a little of both. And in my latest rewatch, I was really seeing some of those things come out of like, yes, it strongly starts as like almost a Christmas rom-com. John is coming from New York to Los Angeles to reunite with his wife, trying to, in hopes of getting their family back together. That when they reunite, even Argyle asks him as he gets out of the car, hold on, he asks him, so your lady sees you, you run into each other's arms, the music comes up, and you live happily ever after, right? So it's like they're really setting it up in the introduction of this is a Christmas rom-com. We're going to see whether these two can make it work and get back together. And then right in that introduction is where we start seeing the first clips of the terrorist group making their way towards the building to take it over. So it's kind of like if a Christmas rom-com was interrupted by an action movie and then John has to use like it's subtle, but he kind of has to use the magic of Christmas and his love for his family to defeat the terrorists and get back to the Christmas rom-com ending that he's been trying to get since the beginning of the movie, if that makes sense. Okay. So it's definitely cross-genre. It's not entirely a Christmas movie, but I don't think having other elements to me takes away from that Christmas part of it.
All right. And Nicole came with the facts too. I saw Nicole turn to the computer.
I was like, I have my quotes. I have other quotes too. His wife's name is Holly. Also, I will point that out.
Okay. See,
Holly.
there we go. Alrighty.
Okay. So I agree wholeheartedly that family and love is a principal theme that goes throughout the entire film. It is essential to a lot of the Die Hard movies, actually. And I'm a massive fan. Love them to death. However, I think that because you have all of these other Die Hard movies that do not take place during this holiday that keep the same kind of recurring theme of oftentimes it's his love for his family or just like his responsibility to his family that's propelling him through so many different things. I think that that is not a Christmas based love. Like a lot of Christmas movies, it's about coming together as a family. It's about like working through all of these problems as a family. And realistically speaking, they don't really work through their problems because it's a high stakes situation. So they're brought together in that high stakes way. Like we always are like, okay, sure, you're going to kiss when you're going to die, that kind of thing. In action movies. Also because I feel like, once again, you can replace that Christmas party with anything. It could be a New Year's party. New Year's is a moment for momentous romantic declarations. So he could be coming in and it could be a New Year's party. And he's like, I've got to do this before the new year. Like, I have to, like, that's my deadline. You could do it during a Valentine's Day party or any kind of like just holiday or even just like work party setting. It's just the idea of his relationship is on the line. But is it truly essentially tied to Christmas? I think they just finagle their way of like connecting a little bit because Christmas is a family time. They're like, oh, like this makes it a little bit more like dire for them to like get all of this figured out and stuff like that because Christmas is a time for them to come together as a family. It's just like nice little coincidences, but the story still works if you sub it in anywhere else. And because primarily it is an action movie and we very quickly abandon like many of the Christmas things. I know that there are a lot of quotes that work with it, but again, those quotes could have changed and they could have been just as good if we had used a different time period. For me, it is not a Christmas movie. It does not have Christmas at its center. It does not focus on Christmas based themes or messages. I think it has a lot of general messages that just work really nicely with Christmas because it happens to be set during Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question with that popped up because you were talking about how there's
Mhm.
like this difference of holiday versus Christmas. Would you
Mhm.
define it as a holiday movie then?
Yes,
Okay.
I could give you that.
Interesting.
I could give you that because again, for me, it's a movie that's just based around a holiday party.
Mhm.
I think that's still a bit of a stretch, but like I could grant that. I could give that to someone. I will die on the hill that it is not a Christmas movie. I have this fight with someone every single year for the past like 6 years.
It's usually me.
It's usually you. It's usually you. Or my dad.
Yeah.
Because my dad likes to just
Oh,
annoy
okay.
me. He doesn't
I
actually
love,
believe it. He just likes to have the argument.
Oh my,
I
yeah.
love that.
But
You
no.
you brought up something I thought was interesting. You talked about like Christmas themes because there was something I noticed when in my recent rewatch, but I'm interested in hearing a little bit about that first. Like we talked about Christmas themes and like family is usually a strong one. One that I kind of was noticing in some of my review looking at Christmas movies again is like, I don't know what to call it, like an anti-capitalism or an anti-greed theme that seems to pop up a
Mm,
lot. And that is something that I didn't remember being a theme of Die Hard until I watched it again. Because a lot of the conflict between in their relationship comes from like both of them having careers that they're not willing to like compromise on. And especially the like John's expectation for his wife to prioritize his job, probably simply because she's his wife, and like the fights that they have over her using her maiden name and like her essentially everything becomes to revolve around like her success in business in things like, you know, their happy reunion is interrupted by her coworker going like, show him the watch because she's got this fancy new watch from like performing well. And then like that watch comes back into play at the end where like Hans Gruber is like hanging off her wrist out the window. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Die Hard, you should watch it. And John has to unclasp her watch for it to like let him go, so he falls out the window. And I was like, is that supposed to be like she has to let go of that? The Rolex, the capitalism, the whatever you want to call it, the corporate job to defeat this like terrorist attack on the company, on her life, her husband's life, like essentially comes down to like their family. And then I saw that like anti-capitalism thing come up in other movies and I was like, is that a Christmas theme that I had not registered previously? Of like, don't be greedy, it's Christmas, which is really interesting for a Christmas theme.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that now that you say that. Like the biggest example I think comes to mind is Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like you see that. Okay, I never really thought about that. Okay.
I personally think it's a carryover from classic Christmas movies. Because if you look at a lot of
Mm.
classic Christmas movies, there is a bigger emphasis on providing and giving back to communities.
Hmm.
a bigger emphasis on the idea of you have the one parent or the one person who is alienated from everyone else because they're just go, 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 go. They're super, super. I mean, A Christmas Carol. Christmas Carol is
Hmm.
like one of the classic Christmas stories. And it's all based around that idea of being so consumed by capitalism and all of these things, or just like in general, just being consumed by the desire for more that you don't actually get to live life and you don't have these people around you. And they're often brought back down to earth. They're humbled a little bit.
Hmm.
Or the idea of, because so many Christmas movies are geared towards kids, I think they do also like to have that in there so that it can be this idea of kids, you should always be giving back. Like, yes, it is a time for receiving because obviously, who doesn't love presents? I say that as
Hmm.
someone who that's my love language. But like the process of giving is just as rewarding. So I think that that's where it comes from, is because a lot of old movies focused on that, and they did it a lot better because it was before the huge mass like
Hmm.
Consumerism.
commercial Christmas that
Hmm.
we have. Um, so that's where I think it came from. Um, because you don't see it as often in newer Christmas movies,
I
but you
agree.
do have a lot of it in like the 2000s and before, but you got a good chunk of it in those older movies.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Um, Connecting it. Here's what I think. So I was watching it and I was like, okay, the Christmas stuff is coming in quite strong, right? I was like, okay, all right, Christmas. But I do agree in the sense that they didn't stick it. So like, it became way more action film and like Christmas was rarely brought up again. And so I was thinking of like Christmas continuously being tied into the plot. And I think if they would have like mentioned it a little bit more, things like that, it would have been a little bit more consistent for me. Like, for example, like it'd be cheesy, but that's how they kind of connect Home Alone a little bit more too, of like Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, like continuously like throwing and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like it would have been cheesy, but
I have a
John,
machine
right?
gun now. Ho ho ho.
Yeah, yeah.
He writes that. He said it's written on
Yeah.
the
I
sweater.
know it's written on the
Yes,
note,
I
yeah,
know.
but
But
it's
that's
like
in
I
the
feel like
first
it's
half. You're
not
right.
as it's not like I feel like towards like that second half, it's not brought up anymore. They focus way more on the action, which is fine. But then I think that's where that cross genre comes in. I think it's an action movie that is in Christmas.
Mm,
I wouldn't first label it as a Christmas movie. But at first I was
right.
on your side, Nicole. I was like, okay, Christmas coming in strong. They got the decor, everything's solid. They got the holiday party, like everything's going like swell. And he got the whole thing too and everything like that. And then we start to lose it like through
Hmm.
the line. And then Christmas is like suddenly brought up again towards the end. But I do want to say that's my first time watching it. Did not know homeboy Alan Greer was in there. May he rest in peace. That was
Hmm.
cool. And then also, can't think of his name, but Sir Winslow from Family Matters was also in there. So I was
Hmm.
like, okay,
Mm.
cool. But that's what I say. I wouldn't label it as a Christmas movie, but I could also understand why people would watch it during Christmas season.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's where I stand on that. It's a hard one because it is more cross genre, but they don't
Hmm.
tie Christmas in as well. Like for
Yeah.
example, you can easily do a rom-com Christmas movie and like it's a Christmas movie that's also a romance because they tie it in really well. But like this one, they kind of lost it like halfway through. I feel like if they
Yeah.
really wanted it to be labeled more of a Christmas movie, they would have kept like intertwining the storylines.
True. The and this was interesting too when I looked it up that this movie came out in July when it first came out. It didn't come out in November when most Christmas movies do, which
Okay.
I think probably also plays into it. But I'm also like that's really interesting to me because you'd think that a movie like that, I guess they're going for summer blockbuster rather than
Yeah.
Christmas
Mhm.
movie.
Hmm.
But that choice was very interesting to me.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's very similar to
Interesting.
what they did with Haunted Mansion. They just released
Yeah, I
Haunted
was
Mansion
thinking.
in July. And that's a
Hmm.
Halloween movie. Like,
Hmm.
no discussion.
Yeah.
And it was released in July.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it did flop. It did
And
flop.
what my brother says about Die Hard is that it's not a Christmas movie and it's not an action movie. It's a Bruce Willis
Mhm.
movie.
Okay, there you go.
Amen. End to the debate. That's
End
what
it
everyone needs to
right there.
understand. It is just a Bruce Willis movie.
It's just
Yeah.
Bruce Willis.
Though interestingly, it was his second film ever, and his first film was a cheesy rom-com.
Wait,
Oh my
what was
God,
the
I think
cheesy
I've seen that
rom-com?
rom-com.
Yeah, what is it called? Do we know?
Oh, let me
Because I feel
find
like
it.
I too have seen him in a rom-com before. I did not
But
know that.
and
Interesting.
so I think that even plays into the Christmas rom-com interrupted by an action movie, is that they cast him rather than Arnold Schwarzenegger or some of the other
Mm.
big names. They did try
Mhm.
to cast one of them first, but they weren't available. So then they went with Bruce Willis, and then that was his big one. Let me see if I can
That's
find his.
hilarious. I
That's
can't
so
imagine
funny.
Arnold doing Die Hard.
Yeah, he
No,
was in a lot of TV at that time, but
Mm,
Blind
but
yeah,
it was his
his
Date
go
first
was
like movie.
the movie he
blind
was in.
date. Okay. All right. I don't know if I have to look back at that, but I feel like I've seen him in a rom-com before. I don't, the
I have
name doesn't ring a bell for me though.
He,
So I gotta look into that. Alrighty.
hmm,
Well, let's see. So we have three go-to holiday movies. Um, if there, I'm gonna list mine, but if there's a chance that one has already been said, I'll give like a special honor, like something else. Um,
mhm.
let's go our top three. Let's go three, two, one. So our third choice first. Um, let's go Sabrina, Nicole, me.
Okay.
Sabrina, what is your third choice? What is your holiday go-to, your Christmas go-to that has a special place in your heart? Um, it could be because it's like tradition or just feel good vibes all the way around.
So this one, I had a hard time picking my third because I have so many, but this one I went with because my family watches it every single year, and so it's not really Christmas without it for my family. The
Mhm.
Santa Claus.
mm,
The Santa Claus.
Oh,
I adore it. I like number one. Number two is really good. Don't watch number three. Highly do
no.
not recommend number three. It's terrible. But number one is just so wonderful, and it packs like all of the Christmas punches. He is that person who is like super super driven by his career, just like his money, isn't paying attention to his kid, has gotten a divorce. His kid comes, and then he's Santa Claus, and it's just so funny. The whole thing is so funny. um all of the setup, the fact that he's got Calvin, the SC Santa Claus, the play on the word clause
Mm-hmm.
itself, the Santa
yeah.
Claus clause. I love all of those.
Mm,
And then the Mrs. Claus in the second one. But I think it does such a good job of also doing a convincing arc for him of how he grows and comes to care for
yeah.
Christmas so much and for these kids so much. And my favorite little tiny like subliminal like Christmas message that they deliver is the idea of believing is seeing and
Mm,
not the other way. Like that is something that carries through with all of the movies.
mm,
And I love it. I love the Christmas movies that are driven by the kids because I think Christmas is for kids more than anything. Um, so to see Charlie convince his dad of this, to see Charlie be the one who gets all of these adults to believe in this, um, I just love it. It makes me feel so good. And it's just very Christmas heavy, which is funny because it starts on Christmas and then it takes a minute before we get back to Christmas because it
yeah.
tracks a whole entire year. But the entire time, it's him becoming Santa Claus and becoming
Mm,
super aware of all these things. And so I love it. I also think he does a great job. What is it? Tim Allen? Tim Allen,
Yeah.
mm,
great job as the Santa Claus. That's what I knew him as. Like before he was the home
same.
improvement guy, because I did watch that before he was anything else. He's just the Santa Claus in my house. He's not Toy Story, nothing. He is the Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So that was my number three. We watch it every single year, at least once or twice.
It's a good
Yeah.
choice. That was
Yeah.
on Disney
Deep.
Channel nonstop.
Oh my God, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's better without the commercials. It's better without the
Yeah.
commercials.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
True. All right,
That one
Nicole, what's
almost
your
that one almost made my list. I had ended up
mm,
on my honorable mentions, but it is one that is on our roster often.
okay.
My number three top third movie is another cross genre one, another one that I think people might this one I think there's even less of a true debate on whether this is a Christmas movie or not, simply but people would debate it simply because it's cross genre, is Gremlins. That is it's a
L
Christmas horror
O
movie.
L.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know why I
What were you
expected
expecting?
anything else. I don't know why I expected anything
That
else.
was
I
not
love
on
this.
my list.
This is
Yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah, I almost
nowhere
had a
near.
second Christmas horror movie on this list too, but it lost out. I'll talk about it later. But Gremlins is another, like, even more classically Christmas with visual references to classic Christmas movies. It takes place
Mhm.
largely or during Christmas in a snowy small town. Gizmo is bought to be a Christmas present. There is and it has that theme. This was the one where I was like, is that a Christmas theme of like being too greedy and not appreciating what you have? There's a whole horrifying monologue from Kate about why she hates Christmas because of her father's untimely death on Christmas one year, and it is she's such a fascinating monologue, and it's the whole movie is kind of capturing the same thing of like you don't know whether to laugh or cry at certain moments where it's like this funny thing is happening, but this is also still a horror movie, and you're like it really puts you in that like middle place. And I just think it's a fun movie, and it's really impressive to look back on because of all the practical effects and things that they had to do for it. Really impressive and just a fun time. So as someone who enjoys alternative Christmas movies, that's one that often comes on, usually in the background for me, but it's a good one
Yeah.
that I always enjoy putting on.
Nice. That was totally unexpected. But
That's
that's a
why you
good
invite
one.
me, right?
Gremlins. Wow. I
I haven't seen it.
yeah, I
Oh, you
haven't
should watch
I
it.
don't think I have seen it like in one sitting. It was one of those movies that would be like on FX, like Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like maybe I would see a few snippets in passing. I don't If I did watch it completely, I watched it when I was a kid. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember. I just know that I know what they look like. I know why they come out, or how they become what they are. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, wow, what a little throwback for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So mine, and how I went about my list, I was thinking of which movies that I know I watch every year. Like certain movies I know I love, and are those more honorable mentions. Um, so I just could think about like Santa Claus and things like that. I'm like, wow, yeah, I really watched that so much in my childhood. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch Santa Claus every year, interestingly enough. I was thinking about that. So I went with my third choice is Elf.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why I say Elf, which is funny because I didn't watch Elf actually till I think high school or college. I was late to the Elf party. Like I was late. When I watched it, I was like, wow, it's taking me this long to fully watch it in one go. So I finally watched it and I was like, this is great. It's just good, like feel good Christmas movie. Good for laughs and just like positive vibes. Will Ferrell did his thing, and it's just like if you want like, because sometimes Christmas movies can also, because they do have that messaging a lot of the times of like family things like that. Sometimes it's kind of like sad. Excuse me. So like I was like Elf is like a good one as well because yes, they have some moments where he's like, oh, who's my dad, things like that. But in reality, it's a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with Elf as my third choice for fun vibes, and I do watch every year. Um, it's definitely one of those you like as you're watching it, you're like making some cookies or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the vibe I catch. Yeah. I would put Elf number three. It was close though, because
Yeah.
I'll talk about my honorable mentions of which one almost got swapped.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So
Yeah.
moving on to number two. Go ahead, Sabrina. What's your
I
number
go
two?
right. Okay. Um, Grinch Stole Christmas. How the Grinch Stole
Nice.
Christmas, but the Jim Carrey one.
Oh yes.
I'm not a big
Yeah.
fan. Yeah, I was like, I'm not a big fan of the cartoons. I know we don't really talk about the cartoons very often, but like
Yeah.
specifically, Jim Carrey is the one
Mm-hmm.
who holds it through the entire time. It is his greatest performance ever, and I love that man. Like I love so many of his movies. That is his greatest performance. You can't ever convince me anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it's just so good. I think the narrator is one of my favorite narrators in any movie because he has that voice. I think he's probably someone who's done it in like multiple movies before,
Yeah.
but I do like the beginning and the ending being framed by the actual story itself. I'm a fan of that. I think it was a very good choice. Um also just God, the Grinch is so wonderful. He's so good. And it's all Jim Carrey who makes it wonderful. But I just
Yeah.
always think of the scene where he's trying to figure out what he's trying to wear. And he goes, "That's it. I'm not going." And I'm like, I understand you completely and entirely in a spiritual level. Um, but it's also, again, kid based. Like Cindy Lou Who is the person who is
Iconic.
questioning the Who's way of Christmas, because for them it is the bigger, the better. It's all about being the best. It's all about having the showiest house, about having the best presents, about having this giant, enormous tree. And she is the only one who's like, I feel like this isn't it. Where are you, Christmas? Like, what is Christmas supposed to be? Because this feels incomplete. And then the fact that what gets the Grinch is the moment where they start to sing around the burned tree. They have nothing. All of their presents have been burned, and they do this, and then that's what gets him. That's what makes his little tiny heart
His
grow
heart.
and hurt him. Um, I love that. It makes me very, very happy. It's just my parents hate that. My top two movies are movies that my parents do not like to watch. We do not watch them with them.
Really?
But because I cannot go a Christmas season without watching my top two, that's why they're my top two. It was like, these are the two where I have to. It's not Christmas
Yeah.
without these two movies. So it's funny because that's the one that I'll like sneak in my little tiny like views, because I do watch that one multiple times in a Christmas season. That one's like at least 3 times. So I was like, that has to be one of the top ones, because I go through specific, like, my parents aren't here, I'm gonna watch it. Or, oops, sorry guys, I'm already 3/4 of the way through this movie. I have to finish it. You have no choice now, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Because it makes me feel so happy. And I think it does a very good job of keeping it lighthearted while having a balance of like realness, especially the way that they treat the Grinch as well. I think that one is handled very, very nicely. So it's my number two.
Great choice. Great choice.
Gracias.
Yeah, I agree so strongly that it is also my number two.
Yeah.
You said it. I
Okay,
was like,
so
yep.
is it time to reveal that it's also my number two?
Yes.
I was gonna leave it, but now LOL.
It sounds like we all have excellent taste, is all I'm hearing.
Yes.
It sounds like we're witnessing a Christmas miracle because we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Exactly the same way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, literally
I
same
don't
number
think this
now.
ever happened.
No, not
Mm-mm.
all three of us exactly on number, like for number wise. Like maybe we've mentioned one of the same. It's
Yeah.
the order is different. That's hilarious.
I
Well,
mean,
did
we
you
each
have
have our own
anything?
different interpretation of it, so we could all just like,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. I was like, Nicole, did you have anything to add to it? And I'll add my little 2 cents after too.
I mean, Sabrina's put it very beautifully. Like, it's got such heart, and it is that like, if you want classic Christmas, it's a fun time for pretty much everybody. That's the movie you go to. Jim Carrey's performance is amazing, like you said. Like, it is incredibly entertaining. The comedy is really funny, and a lot of it is just like natural comedic charisma from the actors, and that's really what makes it special. And I also really appreciate, like, this is a weird thing that I'm noticing with looking back on older movies, is like how much of what they filmed is real. Like, those are not much of that is CGI. Those are real sets with real people in costume. It must have been awful to experience, but the effect was really something. And the production of it I really appreciate as well. So yeah, solid number two. Very good movie.
Yes. To add on to both of those things, I also really love that it's ingrained itself as like a Christmas classic, in a few different ways. Like as a creative, I just really love making something else new, So like for example, like you get your own music, like you get the little Fahudora, whatever the song is, like quality. The costumes and makeup was like on deck. When you look at it, it's its own thing. And I think that's what's really cool about it is yes, like it was already created in book form and it was already created in animation form. But for them to bring it into real life and make it even better, I think was really cool. Jim Carrey making the Grinch his own, like now when you see performances of the Grinch, it's based off of Jim Carrey's performance. It's not based
Mm-hmm.
off of like other interpretations, whether it's book or not TV show. Well, yeah, the TV special or the TV movie special. So
Mhm.
I think about that a lot. It's just so good. I think about like Cindy and like how she gets the Grinch to like,
Mhm.
come and become a part of their world again. That heart special of just like, oh, like I feel for him. And then she's like, as a small child, like being like, I understand you. And I know my family doesn't, and the adults don't get it. But she was like, I'm gonna get it together, I'm gonna get this together. I think it's really cute, cool. So I remember watching as a kid, like she's vibing, like she knows she's
Mhm.
trying to save the town, things like that. There's just so many layers to the movie, which is what I also really love too.
Mhm.
Like you get the comedy of it all and like the chaoticness of the Grinch, like Serena was saying, like him like trying to dress up or just all the things that he found ways to do that just didn't make sense. Then you also get like the story of him like being bullied and what that looked like, just being a kid that got dropped off at a doorstep. As they usually that's their little process, but it looks
Mm-hmm.
a little different now that there's a little bit more internal details with that. So I really like it just because there's more to you can look into it and there's more depth, which
Mhm.
makes it even more of a Christmas story in addition to what's already given to you. I love like the little light competition that happens too. Like you have there's so many layers. You
Yeah.
have like
Mm-hmm.
long time rivalry, you have the romance, it's a really good overall. A plus plus. I can't go a year without watching it either, which is
Mhm.
why it's on my number two. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
watching The Grinch. It's happening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh, so good.
Wow.
I
Christmas
love that we were
miracle.
on the same. Yeah,
I
I know,
know.
right?
I know.
2023 ending strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's go to our number one.
No.
Well, this will probably be different, but we'll see. I thought now it'd be double miracle if we were all on the same page.
We are not.
But
It's
let's
for
see.
sure
Guarantee
different.
you.
It's for sure different.
Okay. Let's go to our number one. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Okay. My number one is your number three. My number one is Elf.
Mm.
Ah, nice.
So that's why I was like, ooh, I can't re-scramble that because it's genuinely my number one. So I am not a Will Ferrell fan.
Oh,
Like, I think this is my only Will Ferrell movie that I like and watch. And
okay.
I adore it. I love it. This is the one that I watch most often. I also came to it late. Again, my parents are not Will Ferrell people. It's not the kind of humor we watch in my household. So I didn't watch it until my cousins were like, "We're sitting you down and you're watching this movie."
Hmm.
Um, Sometime in high school, I think, and it just stuck. The jokes are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, Son of a Nutcracker is something said in my family, like or among the cousins all
Hmm.
year long. We just do it, especially now that there are kids around and we need to keep it like appropriate.
Hmm.
Son of a Nutcracker, You Sit on a Throne of Lies. Oh, what's the other one? There's like another one that we say pretty often, but like all of the little tiny quips are just things that like stuck with me and with my family in particular. Um, I like the approach to this one as well of like the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. How it's the adults at the end who are the ones who actually make Santa come back to life because
Hmm.
the kids believe. Kids believe and kids believe. In this movie, it's a reverse of the other two that I like, where it's like the adults who are the ones who are actually at the very, very end. Spoiler alert, guys.
Yeah.
Um, the ones who make Santa's sleigh come back because it's the adults who are singing. It's the adults who are being shown what they want for Christmas when they don't even write Santa a letter anymore. So how is Santa going to know all of these things?
Yeah.
I also like the Santa in this one. I like that he's a little bit more like uh what's the animation one, the Guardians one, um, the one with Jack Frost. Remember that
Mm-hmm.
movie?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm.
No,
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 Guardians of
no, no,
the.
no, no.
I always call it that one on accident. What is that one called? Guardians of something.
Oh. Oh, Christmas movie. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy, a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that one popped up when I looked up things. But anyways, he's like more of like that kind of Santa where he's like a little bit tougher and he's a little bit like
Yeah.
kind of more in your face. He's a New York Santa, which is great because
Mm-hmm.
that's where it's set. So I like that as
Yeah.
well. And just
Rise of the Guardians.
the absolute, yes, thank you, Rise of the Guardians, that one. The absolute joy that Will Ferrell's character just emanates the entire time. Like even when he is at his peak sad,
Yeah.
he is someone who is just a joyful person. He is still trying to find all of these little tiny moments. And he's basically a child in a way.
Yeah.
And he is exploring everything. So he doesn't have like the whole world's view. He doesn't understand all of the negativity of the world. So it doesn't impact him in the same way. So he is what every adult should be when Christmas time rolls around, or when these
Mm-hmm.
beautiful moments of like supposedly like coming together as a family, coming together to like recognize all of the good things that have happened throughout the year as the year
Mm-hmm.
comes to an end. Um, he is that. He is the symbol of that because he has yet to be marred by the outside world. And we even see how that happens throughout the movie. But even at the end, he's still there. They're still celebrating together. They have this beautiful family together that is not perfect. He
Yeah.
has this little brother that he wins over, and it's just, it's so good. It's so good, and it makes me very, very happy. And it's the one that I have to watch all the time. It's the one I watch the most, so that's why it's number one.
It's so good. I forgot to I want to do a quick shout out for that one. Zoe Deschanel.
Yes,
Um, yeah, I forgot to do that because
the only version of that
quality.
song that I like.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah, she should drop a Christmas album. I feel like people would
She
definitely listen.
should.
Mm.
She should. It would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Start with that one to get all the interest
Hmm.
Mm.
with Will
Yeah.
Ferrell. Do that.
On the side, Santa as the intro. That'd be hilarious.
That's free, Zoe Deschanel. You can have that one.
Yeah. All right, Nicole. What's your number one?
My number one we already talked about, simply because it is the movie that if something happens and I don't watch any Christmas movies except for one during the Christmas season, I'm gonna watch this one with my family because we always do, and it's Die Hard.
I heard. All right.
Yep. And and as I enjoy a classic Christmas movie, but I don't know why. Something about cross genre, especially with Christmas movies, it tickles me. Like I enjoy seeing like the interplay between how you're gonna make those two things work, and whether it comes out more Christmas or more something else. Like, it it's Christmas enough for me, and I enjoy it a lot. So, and also because it's always the one that like that's the one that we all get together to watch. So it's always that like family environment, whether we're like fully engrossed in the movie every single year. That does not happen. We're mostly doing it to hang out because we've seen it so many times. But like, that's, even though it's one of the not very Christmassy Christmas movies, it's my number one.
Okay. I have a question with that then, Nicole.
Mhm.
This is just curiosity question. Is your family getting like hot chocolate and marshmallows and like sitting down as you're watching like Die Hard and people are going pew pew pew? It's like ooh, holidays.
Yeah, I mean, it's during like Christmas festivity type things. Some like I
Okay.
think last year we watched it on Christmas Eve. Like that's
Nice.
one of our Christmas activities. And
Yeah.
and to be fair, we're not like a hugely Christmassy family. Like we decorate the house and those sort of things, but we're not doing like 25 days of Christmas on ABC Family kind of Christmas in the household. But
Yeah. Okay, cool. I just thought that was the image that I had, and I was like, that's just like a funny image.
in
Everyone's
our
sitting on the
Christmas
couch with their
sweaters,
blankets. Yeah.
their little hats on,
Yeah.
watching Die Hard.
Right.
Oh boy.
That's hilarious. Okay. Okay. My number one. I feel like y'all may know, but I'm gonna roll it out. I have to give it, and people hate on it because of the animation. I have to give it to Polar Express.
Yeah.
But I have learned people don't like the animation of it. I can understand because it was different. It was a little surreal for some people. Um, a little less animation, more like people. Also, random fact, found out Tinashe plays the little girl, which is really funny
No
because I had no
way.
idea.
Whoa.
Yeah, I found that out and I was like, oh, what? I didn't know that. Um, but of course we get just like solid holiday vibes all the way around. That's the one I watch for like complete feel good. Also low key like when I watch it, even it like low key like sadness as well. I don't know how to explain that one though. But like also like where are the parentals? But I do love the movie for just like you get like the found like family aspect and like friendships. You get like some creepy vibes too with like the ghosties and like strange things happening on the train. You get like high stakes where all of a sudden the tracks are down and they've gone in the wrong, they've been frozen up and the train's going in chaotic places. High stakes as well when they're finally at the North Pole and they're not where they're supposed to be because kids are never doing what they're supposed to do. And also like they're trying to like save things from going wrong on Christmas. Um you get Tom Hanks throughout the whole entire thing, wherever
Hmm.
he's playing the train can't even I'm really bad with names, but whether he's playing like train guy or he's playing like homeless ghost guy, like there's options there.
Conductor.
See, I was thinking conductor and I was like, I feel like I was wrong. Thank you. Okay. Conductor, train conductor. Um, so I always watch it and it's a long movie and when you really think about it. But that's like the time you can watch it and just like decorate your apartment or decorate your home or also the cookie vibes, cooking and doing things like that. That's like family cozy movie for me. Um so I always go for Polar Express. It's just like a fun time. I love you get music too.
Yeah.
Like iconic
Hmm.
songs. Hot Chocolate. I
Mm-hmm.
choreographed a little piece last year. I didn't put it in the show, but I had like played around with it. Actually, the year before that, and then I brought it to my middle school kids of like hot chocolate. Or you got like when Christmas comes to town. Like there's iconic
Mm-hmm.
things. I think it solidified itself as like a holiday like iconic movie, like things like
Hmm.
and I think it helps with the fact of like you got your own songs now. The vibes are completely different, and you're not getting a Christmas movie, animated Christmas movie like that. Now,
Hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
that's why some people don't like the animation, but like, it works in its ways. I don't know, I just really love it. It's just vibes all the way around. So I
Hmm.
had to put my number three, even though like sometimes I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, like I remember when I was little and I was watching this movie and now I'm a whole adult, like things like that.
Yeah.
But I really do love the Polar Express. So
Hmm.
that's number one,
And
all
that's another
vibes
one
around.
that kind of touches on a theme that's come up a little bit, the like power of belief one
Yeah.
with
Mm-hmm.
the bell and like whether you can hear it and all that.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna
Yeah.
ask about that. I was like, KaVonna, what are your thoughts? Because I remember watching it for the first time and just being like kind of gutted when these kids witness their parents not be able to hear the bell.
Yeah.
So like what are your thoughts on that part?
Well, I think that's what makes it also kind of a little sad, like
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
it also in connection to like Elf in a way, but Elf takes it a little bit more lighthearted. But something about that, like, and I feel like it's always brought up in Christmas movies, actually. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you see it of like that disconnect of like childhood to adulthood and
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
what that looks like. Um, in a Christmas movie, it's obviously not as in depth, but it still can tie in. Like
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
we talk about this all the time. We were just talking about it, like the adult life and how that's so different and drastically different, and the responsibilities and the fact that you have to keep going,
Mm-hmm.
and doing things to just find stability. You can't just be a kid and be like, I'm tapping out. I'm gonna do what I want to do and just vibe. Like that's a big difference. And I think because of that, wow, not to get too deep I think because of that and like how like draining adulthood could be with the amount of responsibilities you have and that disbelief could be the case scenario in these movies of like um as a kid the world is your oyster. Then when you become an
Mm-hmm.
adult you start to see things kind of form. They're a little bit more concrete, or if they're not as concrete you kind of have to fight a little bit more, a lot harder actually. So I think that's where that comes in. So that's what makes it a little bit sad because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
dang, I am an adult. That's crazy. But
Yeah.
I do think As far as belief, just in general, of whatever that may be. I mean, I don't believe in Santa Claus, but like whatever that may be. I do think it's like a fight of like what we are given though. Like, yes, this is the life that we are set in. And it's not always it's like US looks very different from other places. Like, hey, maybe I'll move to Amsterdam or something. Maybe they're kinder to the
Mm.
citizens. I don't know. Like, but um what we are given, we could still fight, whatever that is and still choose to believe in. Um
Mhm.
and believe in whatever it is instead
Mhm.
of like be adapted into what we are given. If that makes sense. I don't know if it makes
Mhm.
sense, but yeah.
No, I think it does. And I think that's part of why Christmas movies have that kind of appeal is that it allows you, no matter where you are in your like real life, it gives you that Christmas magic for an hour and a half to like
Hmm.
Mhm.
lose yourself in and
Hmm.
capture that childhood feeling of like Christmas is a magical time. And like
Hmm.
I think that's why that's such a common theme of like the magic of Christmas and preserving it and restoring it and saving the day. And usually that power is with the kids because they're the ones that still like have that belief in them. But
Hmm.
these
Mhm.
movies are still around for us to enjoy as like at any stage in our life to kind of recapture that Christmas magic.
Yes,
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
Um,
Yeah.
for me, the belief one also goes into a different area too, because like I am Catholic. I've grown up Catholic. I like for me, Christmas is very, very closely tied to church and to baby
Mhm.
Jesus, the birth of Jesus. So a lot of the things too carries over that belief. Like for us, it is also a moment of celebration that he was brought into this world. It's a tradition. We have multiple nativity sets. My mom loves nativity sets. She's beautiful ones. But we cover baby Jesus. Once Chris like December starts and it's officially December 1st, we cover him up with like a little blanket or something. And then at midnight on December 24th, we uncover. So it was like this big thing that when we turned like 5 or 6 and we could touch these breakable little things, we
Yeah.
would uncover it. And it's that belief also that carry through. So I like all the Christmas movies that are focused on believing because I think
Mhm.
it's really nice because for everybody it means something different. For some people,
Mhm.
it is the belief in magic. It is the belief in um, that at least for this moment in time, things can be happy and a little bit better, and we don't have to think of other things. Or the belief in just like Christmas in general and the whole feel of it, because there are so many adults, and I see it more with my older family members of just like losing the like joy
Yeah.
or the
Mm-hmm.
excitement just
Mm.
because it becomes a chore. So it's like believing that it's not
Yeah.
that. And then for others, it is believing that this is like a monumental moment for us as humans because of these
Mhm.
different beliefs. So I love that particular Christmas story because I think it's so nice of how like big and both like specific, but also just like universal it can be for so many people, how so many people have different interpretations of what that belief idea is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad you noted that. Actually, like it becomes a chore. That's so
Mm-hmm.
true. Like I start to
mhm.
see that too. Like my mom, she kind of like hates when Christmas time comes around. I low key. So I'm like, no, wait. For me, I do think like I'm like, nah, you can't stunt my Christmas vibe like ever. I'm one of those people that last year I went to Diker Heights for Christmas and I want to go again this year, like Christmas time. Like I'm one of those people who can see all those lights and I'm surrounded by lights on a Christmas street and want to start crying. So I'm just so happy to be present. Um, Macy's 34th Street, finally
Mm-hmm.
saw it decorated. Oh, what? Like those kind of
I
things.
would cry.
One day I'll
I
see
would
the things.
cry.
Yeah, like yeah, like that's for me. I truly just enjoy it. Like I don't have to pay for anything or no one has to pay for anything for me. I can just be present and just like the vibes. I saw a Rockefeller tree just at night and just like everybody's walking around. It's just everyone's like got good vibes for the most part. It's New York City at the end of
Mhm.
the day too, 'cause it's very touristy. So some people don't know how to act. But for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, it's just like feel good vibes. Like Saks Fifth has a cute light show. Like these are things that I just like,
Mhm.
so, um, I know I will still always be in the belief. Like I don't see a time period where I don't like the holiday season. I don't like Christmas, and I don't just enjoy it. because there's so many ways and capacities you can. One day, I'll have to figure that out because I know my family would be so mad at me. But I would like to see the Thanksgiving parade. I don't know when that day will be, but I would like to see the Thanksgiving parade. So, but yes. Okay. So I did want to note some honorable mentions.
Mhm.
And then after that, I have rapid fire questions. And we're going to talk about that. But before we talk about honorable mentions, I want you to think about some. But I did want to drop some from
Mhm.
Instagram because I had asked people on Instagram and they gave me some. So some of them also said Elf, also said Polar Express, also got The Nightmare Before Christmas,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
specifically the story of Jesus Christ in Spanish. They specifically said that. So I was like, ooh, okay. Um, Polar Express was double mentioned, Elf was double mentioned. Um, so yeah, those are definitely like those were in our tops as well.
Mhm.
So they definitely come through a lot. And The Nightmare Before Christmas, I feel like people think of it more of a not Halloween movie, but they had
Mhm.
also mentioned it for that too. So
Yeah, it's a perfect bridge movie.
It is.
hmm
Oh, I had an
yeah.
argument with my sister literally this weekend about that because Cassandra was
hmm
saying it's not a Christmas movie. And I was like, it is both at the
Excuse
same
me?
time.
Oh,
I was like, it is
yeah.
both at the same time. It is both a Halloween movie and it's arguably more a Christmas movie than it is a Halloween movie.
I can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
His whole focus is Christmas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a song called Santa Claus, which is
Yeah.
creepy, and the reason I don't really
Yeah.
watch the movie often.
hmm
Um, but that one is honestly like the king of holiday movies because
Mm.
that thing you can watch as of like September if you're a Halloween person,
That's true.
all the way through Christmas, and you
Mhm.
can just watch it as many times as you want. Disneyland has
I
the
was about
Nightmare
to
Before
say.
Christmas overlay from September
hmm
until January.
hmm
Mhm.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. It's just a little creepy. I can't watch it very often.
Oh.
I love Oogie Boogie though.
Oh yeah.
God, that's such a good song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such a good song.
I'll give you one of my honorable mentions in addition to the ones that they said. For me, it almost made my top three, but it's still pretty fresh and new. So, but I have watched it every single Christmas since it dropped. But Last Christmas, it is a rom-com, rom-dram Christmas movie.
Right.
It's so good, but it is sad.
Mm.
So sad. Um, it's so sad. If you have not watched it, highly recommend. It's Last Christmas. They theme their whole entire like music catalog around oh my gosh, why am I going blank on his name? Oh no, I'll come back to you on that. I'm thinking of the songs. Freedom,
Wham?
dun, 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 freedom. But what's his name from Wham? My brain is going blank.
Oh,
Main guy,
God, don't. I don't know their names. I'm
because
surprised I know
he
Wham.
started his own career.
Did he?
Oh man, Richie. No, Richie. My brain is like completely blank. Faith. They gotta have faith, faith, faith.
George Michael?
By
Oh.
thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry to the George Michael fans out
Oh.
there.
He's from
They
Wham? Listen,
Yeah.
yeah.
listen. I know all the songs you were singing, but like,
Mhm.
again, I'm surprised I know Wham sings that song.
Well, that's the thing. Wham
I'm bad
doesn't.
at names.
George Michael
Well,
does.
I mean,
But you know
Last
his voice
Christmas.
from Wham. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's all they base their music
Mhm.
after George Michael. So everything is George Michael. It does have a sad twist. I'm not gonna spoil it for you.
I'm
But
so sad.
it is really sad. First time I watched it, I was bawling in the theater. Shout out to Summer. We were both bawling in the theater. Um, but it's really feel good because I love the meaning and the connection
Mhm.
behind it, even though it is sad. Um,
Mhm.
and it really is like that true like Christmas movie of like, oh, someone who was a little bit like darkened in their heart kind of like
Mm.
becomes brighter again, kind of like connection with like the Grinch, heart
Mhm.
grows a bit more after being like torn down, and finding hope again, things like that. I really loved it. And
Mhm.
also I love a good rom-com, even though it didn't end the way I would have liked it to. So yeah.
Yeah, you can't beat a good Christmas rom-com. Also in
Yeah.
the emotional category. And because I remember crying while watching this for the first time with, I don't know if both of you were there, but I think Summer was there. Klaus, the 2019 animated movie.
Uh,
Don't talk to me
yeah.
about it. It's also my honorable mention.
Yeah.
was a wreck.
Yeah.
Watched it.
You haven't?
No, I have
You
not
should watch
watched it.
It's really good. It also made my mom cry. I made her watch it the next year.
I was not aware it was a sad movie. I have not
Listen,
watched it.
it's not
There's
it's not sad.
it's overall a happy movie. There are just some parts that really get you in the feels.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not like sad like yours. Yours
Mhm.
Okay.
betrayed me.
Yeah,
Klaus
fair.
surprised me.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
But it's a visually gorgeous movie. It was a great time to watch. And I think also watching it with a bunch of friends like is what kind of solidified it as one of my honorable mentions because it's
Mhm.
a good time. I think I've watched it every year since. Pretty sure.
Okay. Cool. Sabrina, you said Klaus was also your honorable mention. Did you have another
It
one?
was one of, so I had 4 other contenders for 3rd place.
Oh,
When I
okay.
mean it was a struggle. It was a struggle.
Okay.
Klaus is there because of that moment, like watching it with y'all for the first time. I
Mhm.
forgot who walked into the room and was like, I'm gonna walk away now
Yeah.
because we were disasters, especially because it got you, Nicole.
Yeah.
It got
that doesn't
you,
happen.
and that's like,
Yeah.
but like Summer and I was sobbing, like making little tiny like noises, trying not to like make the full sobs.
Mhm.
I showed it to my parents. I watch it every year. That one's beautiful. It is one of the most visually breathtaking cartoons I've seen in a long time.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful. Like there's literally nothing else I can say about it.
Mhm.
Other than it just leaves you with such a good feeling. Even if you cry, I cry every time I see it, every time.
Yeah.
And it still leaves me with this like wonderful feeling in my heart. Mistletones is a family favorite for us. It is one of those ABC. That's
Quality
when it was ABC
ABC.
Family.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a
Freeform
musical.
now.
So it is a movie musical. So it's right up my alley. I adore Christmas music more than Christmas movies. Like I'm all about the music during Christmas season.
Yeah.
As much as I love the movies. So that one was one too. And then Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas.
Hmm.
Okay.
I did not include it because for me, the main one is the Gift of the Magi version. It is a Gift of the Magi version that I show my students because when I do teach freshmen, we do that one right around Christmas time. So I show them that version instead because I think it's so beautiful and I just love it. And I'm a Disney girl, so Mickey Mouse. And then the last one is Miracle on 34th Street, but not the one with the Matilda girl, the one from the 40s or 50s, the one with
Okay, the
Natalie
older one.
Wood. The one with Natalie Wood. It is beautiful. It's black and white. It is a classic. It is the reason why I would cry, KaVonna, if I saw Macy's
Mm-hmm.
on 34th Street. That's the reason I would cry. But I love it. It's just one of those classic movies that I think still stands to stand like the bits of time. It's a little
Mm-hmm.
bit on the boring side. I do understand that some people are like, it's too long, not enough happens. But this man has to go to court to prove that Santa Claus is this old man claiming to be Santa Claus. It's so good. The way that he wins, like the way that all of this court case works out, it's just so good. The idea that like he gets Macy's to be like, oh, if we don't have it, we'll send you to someone who does, kind of thing. Um, so those are my top 4. Those are my other 4. I had to, yeah, it was literally between 5 movies for 3rd place. So I got a lot. There's many others that I adore.
Okay.
There's a lot of
Good
good
to
ones.
know. Yeah, I have
Oh.
not. Well, I told you I haven't watched Klaus. I haven't watched Miracle on 34th. Like y'all know, I have a hard time watching older films because
I don't think
sometimes,
you can make it.
yeah, I
I'm gonna be
probably
honest
wouldn't.
with you. I don't think you can make it through.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
It's hard. But yeah, Mistletoe's a good one. ABC Family was in their bag for holiday movies at a certain point.
Holiday
Oh
and
yeah.
Handcuff.
Yeah, Handcuffs. Yeah, Mistletones. And so many others too. I can't even
Mm-hmm.
think. But
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
just the genre of like Christmas rom-coms alone has so many
yes,
bangers.
yeah, exactly. They set the tone for sure, and I think kind of Netflix kind of took over that a little bit.
Mm.
Of course, Lifetime and Hallmark still do their thing. But I think as far as like what matches with everyone still. I think Netflix still does a great job at that. Shout out to Kat Graham because I feel like she's been in Netflix's like
Yes.
com
Yes.
bag. And then like they have like holiday calendar and stuff like that. So
I love holiday calendar.
super good. Yeah, it's a good one.
A Night Before
Um,
Christmas. Solid.
yeah, with Vanessa Hudgens.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Vanessa
hmm
Hudgens Christmas
Yep, she's
movies.
also been the Princess Switch with the Christmas one. The third one's the Christmas one, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Big
Yeah.
God, there's three. That's right.
hmm Yeah. I think they're done now. I think they were trying to do trilogy and
I
just
hope
stopped. So.
so.
No,
And
they should just keep adding more Vanessa Hudgenses. You could go forever.
right, just keep adding them.
Yeah.
Princess Switch, Valentine's Day, surprise. There's another
Yeah.
one.
Royal
Oh,
Baby. Just
That's what
anything.
I'm thinking. Because they do like the Christmas Prince and
oh,
then the Christmas Prince's baby. And I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't need to see one of all of them having a
they're due.
babies. And
Yeah.
then all the babies look alike. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank
No,
you.
please. It would be so
No.
funny.
Mm-mm.
I've got
Stop it. Stop it.
I've got two more honorable mentions for you. One, I
Okay.
think
Mhm.
we've definitely touched on it before because it was on my rom-com list, The Holiday, even though it's
Yes.
one that is not
Mhm.
too classically Christmassy, being set partially in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
We're not going to knock Los Angeles for not having snow, but I enjoy
No.
that one as
Or
well.
winter.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
just kind of windy in that movie, and they're like, "Wow, California."
Santa Ana wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out
It's
to
a good
Jack
one.
Black for not remembering it in that one interview.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's right.
That
Oh,
is a
but it's
holiday
such a good
movie.
movie.
Yeah,
Such a good movie.
it was one of his early ones. He could have a pass.
Hmm.
And my last one, this one almost made my top 3, but it was a new one, and I decided that there were ones that I liked more. It's called Anna and the Apocalypse. It's a Christmas zombie apocalypse musical. And
Okay.
it's another one that I was like, this is nuts, but I am enjoying it. It's a British movie. It's got some good heart. The music is very like High School Musical. The only
Mm.
reason it didn't make my top 3 is because some of the like the sound mixing is not good in a lot of the parts. And so it was like
Mm.
taking me out of it sometimes where I'm like, God, somebody needs to go over this movie and fix like the music will just suddenly drop really low under
Mm.
the singing and stuff like that. But I enjoyed it in my watch through, and it's one that is very well loved. It's, you know, it is a weird one, but it's definitely worth trying if like the classic Christmas movies are not doing it for you.
Hmm.
Interesting. A Christmas zombie apocalypse musical.
Yeah.
Okay. I wrote it down. Anna and the Apocalypse. I got it.
No, not for you.
No. Like if we decide to watch it together, yes,
Then yeah,
because
yeah.
you will make it fun.
Yeah.
hmm
But like on my own, no,
It's
I know
not
myself.
very
No, no.
scary. It's a little bloody.
No,
It's
no, 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 not because of that. Just because I have so
yeah.
many Christmas movies to go through. I can't do a zombie one unless it's
hmm
us three.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair. Alrighty. It's time for rapid fire questions, team. And here's I'm
Okay.
breaking it down again because we haven't been making it.
We know what it is. We're just not good at it.
The requirement is I'm going to throw out questions. They are rapid fire, round related to the holiday season. Your responsibility is to answer rapidly,
Can I get a definition, please?
fast, quick.
Okay.
Don't break it down. If you're saying the word
Okay.
because, you're messing it up already.
That's a
Okay.
good metric.
Right.
We
I felt
got
like that was
Okay.
good. Right?
we got this. We can do
Yes.
it.
Okay.
Mm,
So I'll go with the quicker ones first. The ones that I think you will be faster. Less
okay.
choices. Okay.
Okay.
Real tree or artificial tree?
Artificial.
Okay. Awesome. Best holiday treat or dessert?
Hot chocolate with
Okay.
mint in it, especially like a minty hot
Okay.
chocolate.
Ooh, good choice.
I got two. They're both drinks. Eggnog and
Okay.
then champurrado. But
Ooh, okay.
specifically the champurrado that the old ladies in my church make.
Okay. That's super specific. I realized I didn't
Oh,
answer the
so
first one.
yummy. You
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just
were
went
too
went for
focused
it.
on the
Too
rapid
rapid.
part.
Too
Yeah, I was
rapid.
too rapid. Um, I say real treat, but in reality, artificial. And
Mhm.
then best holiday treat or dessert. I also love a good hot chocolate. Also minty on occasion. Yeah. Okay. Giving gifts or receiving gifts?
Giving gifts. 100%.
I can't do that. That is my love
Can't pick
language, KaVonna.
both for Sabrina.
It is
You can
both.
say both. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah,
both,
you could say
both,
both.
both,
I
both, both, both.
I would say both as well. Yeah. Um, favorite holiday song?
Shake Up Christmas by Train.
Ooh, okay.
Also, All I Want for Christmas Is You. Classic.
Yes. I say Oh Santa specifically with Ariana Grande and Jennifer Hudson. That's been a vibe every
Mm.
year. There's multiple, but that's my main go-to. That's the first one that popped in my head.
I have an answer for Sabrina. I know she's got like probably 40 going in her head at the
I
moment.
know. We're all staring at her right now.
You want some?
Okay, okay,
Oh, she said okay. This is not good.
okay. Again, I'll divide it into two because I have the church one. Church one
She
is
said
Oh Holy
because.
Night.
Mm,
Listen, church Oh Holy Night,
Okay.
regular, today at this moment, cold December night.
mm,
Okay. By Michael Bublé.
Yeah, because I had to go with Bubbly.
yeah.
I had to go
Cool.
with Bubbly. He is the
Yeah.
Christmas king for me.
Hmm.
Yes. Valid. Ugly Christmas sweaters. Yes or no?
Yes. I have
Sometimes,
one. I would like more.
Okay.
sometimes.
I sometimes I say yes. I don't have
Mhm.
any, but I say yes. I think that'd be cool. And then last but not least, favorite holiday tradition.
Oh, my family and I, we like to get into the car and we like to have hot chocolate and we play the Christmas songs and we go look at Christmas lights in the neighborhood. There
That's
are less and less
cute.
each year, which is
Yeah.
so sad, except my neighborhood now has a lot more kids, so we're hopeful for this year.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um, but I love to do it. I did it with my roommates in San Diego. I do it with everyone if I can. So that.
Nice.
Mhm.
Same aspect, but it's not always with my family. Um, as I don't live with them directly all the time, but looking at holiday lights, in different places, whether that's like driving through neighborhoods, walking through a specific neighborhood, taking a train to the city, things like that. I love looking at lights.
Same. Mine
Mhm.
was also getting in the car and going to look at Christmas lights. My family used to do this every year. We haven't in recent ones, but go to Candy Cane Lane, which is like near Los Angeles.
Oh.
It's gorgeous down
Mhm.
there. So
Good
very,
to know.
especially when we were
Mhm.
kids. And it was always a surprise. So we'd be like, "Where are we going?" And my mom would say, "We're going to Crazy Town," and we'd be like, "What?" And then we'd show up at Candy Cane Lane. It was always a fun time.
That's cute. Oh, alrighty. Well, that ended our rapid fire section. I feel like that was better this time.
We're getting
We're
it.
we're getting it, yeah.
The
Um,
only question that was hard was the song.
yes, it was a song one.
That's it.
To be fair, there's a lot of choices, but I was like,
Well,
let me
yeah.
go straight to whatever first pops up.
That is
Thank
so
y'all
nice.
again for joining. Um,
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it was
of
fun.
course. Yes, as always, it's always fun with y'all. To listeners out there, you want to share your favorite holiday movies, traditions as well, please share. It's holiday season already. Can you believe it? We went from summer to holidays. We got a few more episodes left for the year. Have a great holiday season, whatever you celebrate. Um, just have a great time. Once again, thank you, Sabrina and Nicole. If you like this episode, go ahead and like it actually on Spotify, share it with your friends, share it on your Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of the above. Send it to a family member, a loved one. Spread the love this season. Go ahead and follow me at KaVonna on Instagram to stay updated as well. We also have a TikTok, so go ahead and follow the Introverts Social
Ooh.
Hour on TikTok to stay updated. get some sunshine, get some air, have an amazing, amazing week. And I will see you next week on the Introverts Social Hour. Thank you. Bye.